Gotham City is quiet under a blanket of snow. The night is cold, warmed only by the occasional light shining through a window or the blinking of Christmas decorations. Quiet is broken with a whomp as Batman lands on a rooftop, his boots crunching in the snow as he takes off at a run. In the distance, the bat signal shines through the night as snow falls. It's Christmas Eve in Gotham. Down in the streets, Bob is walking along with a bag slung over his shoulder, with a coat and a scarf pulled tight against the cold. Sweat gleams on his face despite the chill, and he looks up into the night where the bright light shines above him. Bob approaches Jack in the Box, an old boarded-up toy store with the creepy dolls in the window, and places the bag on the ground. He faintly knocks on the closed-up door. Above him, the Batman leaps across the rooftops, snow crunching beneath him. The sound causes Bob to look up while a gloved hand reaches through the boards to take the bag. Looking back, he sees a neatly placed gift. Replacing the bag, he doesn't hesitate, takes that gift, and walks away in the cold. Batman descends, his cape flapping like wings in the cold night air. Bob, frightened, tries to run, fear hitting his muscle strength. Suddenly, a batarang whips around his foot, tripping him, sending the gift flying, and it breaks open on the sidewalk, money spilling and spiraling out into the winter wind. Behind him, Batman approaches.
Please, just don't! I have a kid! A family!
Bob pleads as the Dark Knight pulls him up by his scarf and begins to threaten him, his eyes full of fury. Tell me where he is! You won't lie if you want to walk away from here.
I don't know. I swear.
Swear to me. What do you mean you don't know?
All I know is I got a note to bring the bag here and get the gift. I've never even met the clown.
Batman raises his fists. The story doesn't make sense. How is the Joker going to contact you to get the money?
He was going to send another note with instructions!
Bob continues to plea as he throws up his hands to protect him from Batman's anger. Batman releases him, turning away from the criminal. Consider yourself lucky you make better live bait than jailbait. Bob was lucky, and without a moment to waste, scrambling back to his feet, he ran through the snowy streets, his breath steaming in the cold air. He was so quick to get away, he didn't notice the blinking tracer planted on his scarf. Back at the toy store, the wood splinters and cracks as Batman kicks it in. The building is quiet. Snow falls through the open doorway, mixing with the dust of years of neglect. Batman's light plays on the doll, strange clowns, and horses. He spins as a large green-haired clown falls at him from the left. But it's just another toy, with a note taped to its hideous grin.
Another joke goes right over your head. Too slow, old man.
Gritting his teeth in anger, Batman crumples the note in his fists. Another game. Somewhere else in the city, Bob has finally gotten home. The apartment is small and run down. The paint cracked and peeling, yet this is their home. Bob comes through the door, hard and fast, still feeling like there is something right behind him. His son, Timmy, comes excitingly forward, trying to show his father the world's saddest Christmas tree, proud of the ornaments he made from the junk in their home.
Tim! Not now, okay?
Bob yells as he peers through the peephole in the door. Tim turns away, his mouth sagging in a frown at his father's words. Feeling bad, Bob turns from the door, trying to show his son love because he knows that he made him feel bad.
Tree really isn't so bad. And the ornaments make it nice.
I really want a Batman Christmas ornament.
Why would you want a Batman on the Christmas tree? He could be scary.
Bob tries to explain, but Timmy knows that Batman is one of the good guys. He only hurts people who have done bad things.
Sometimes, even the good guys do bad things.
Bob stares sadly out the window into the snowy Christmas Eve night. Snow continues to fall on Wayne Manor, and deep underground in a cave colder than the winter landscape outside, Bruce is watching his computers. A cough fills his lungs. Bats flitter overhead as Alfred brings his charge a drink, frowning at the costume haphazardly thrown on the floor of the cave.
I would say you caught something of a cold running around outside in the freezing night.
I'm not sick, Alfred. After all, it is impossible for the Dark Knight to get the sniffles. Despite his concern for Bruce, Alfred questions why he watches Bob and Timmy on his cameras. I'm just waiting for the clown to go after him to get the money that he left on the streets earlier.
Excuse me, Master Bruce, but I don't see it ethical or wise to use this man as bait. Especially that he has a young son who could be at risk.
I take the risk that he will raise his child exactly like him. Bruce scoffs. Alfred reminds Bruce of another young boy that he took a risk on and leaves him alone in the cave. Memories of the past flood Bruce's mind. Memories of leaping off rooftops with his young sidekick, who is younger than and full of hope. Bruce looks over his shoulder, his eyes falling on the Robin costume in the armory. For a moment, he almost sees the man who once wore it. His eyes glance at Bruce, but no, he's gone. There's just a costume, a ghost from the past, a warning from the future. Despite the chill, Bruce sweats, his coughs interrupting the silence of the cave. Signal shines brightly in the dark night sky with Jim Gordon trying to light his pipe to ward off the cold. Behind him, Batman appears, as he always does.
There's no new news on the Joker, but they do have a new tip. A certain cat burglar is knocking off Sprague's auction house tonight, and claims to have some information, and you know she'll only talk to you.
Gordon looks concerned as Batman coughs in the night air. She's only interested in playing games. Batman descends into the night, his cape flapping behind him. Outside Sprague's auction house, Batman awaits, watching his city. His thoughts drift back to the cave, to the spirit he saw. It was nothing. It was no different than any other night, Christmas Eve or not. The clock struck 1, and the first visitor appeared. She was beautiful, dressed in black, running across the rooftop. Batman descended his cloak like wings. She stops, smiling over her shoulder.
I could hear you breathing. Getting old, or is it just the frosty night air?
Selina, I'm not in the mood. It's been years of back and forth, and they constantly play this game. Yet tonight's different. I will not play games with you tonight, he hisses, pulling her close. Where is he? But Selina wants to play games. She wants to play their games. Decades of the two going back and forth, and the fun they've had. It was never for fun. Sick people like you think that this is some sort of... Bruce is interrupted as Selina's whip lashes out, catching him by the arm. The two trade blows, with Selina venting her anger. She claws Bruce across the mouth and runs. Batman gives chase, the cold air flying past him as Batman runs across the rooftops. It's as if she's showing him people and places from his past, his younger days when he was full of life and vigor, fighting crime alongside Robin, young and naive. Catwoman leaps, her feet barely catching the slippery snow with Batman following. Reaching for a gargoyle, but that statue breaks. Batman falls. He lands with a thump, his body racked with coughs. His first visitor leaves him. The clock strikes 2. In the gloomy, snowy darkness of Gotham, he seemed to glow. The man from another world appeared. Superman. He floats there, reaching out to Batman on the ground.
Need a hand? Looks like you could use one.
I'm fine. Out past your bedtime, aren't you? Batman asks, struggling to his feet. Superman looks at him concerned, his vision taking in Bruce's condition on the inside. He should be inside, but Bruce didn't care for Clark's medical advice. He just wants him to leave. Superman a second time holds out his hand.
Just let me give you a lift to your car.
Batman agrees on one condition. 2 stand on the rooftops overlooking Bob's apartment. They watch as Timmy comes in with a Christmas card hand-drawn for his father with a look of happiness on his face. Batman is still waiting on the Joker's arrival. Superman does not approve of using this man as bait, especially with his son involved.
If the father is involved, he could go to prison.
But then we decrease the surplus criminal population.
What about the boy?
I'm going to scare him. Scare him so badly that he doesn't ever follow his father's footsteps. But Superman doesn't think this is the way it should be done. Lifting Batman off the ground, he takes him to his car. Yet first, he shows him the city, visions of good people who live there, the kindness, the happiness that Bruce has seemingly forgotten the very thing that he was fighting for. The things that people did for each other, and the present. Everyday life didn't involve crime and capes. He brought him to the Gordon's house, to show him that Gordon truly did believe in him, but that he thought he would one day cross the line. Bruce always thought that he was the hero, but apparently not everyone thought that. Clark finally drops him off at the Batmobile.
Good night, Bruce. Feel better.
With that, the second spirit leaves him. Bruce uses his remote to activate the Batmobile, but with a push of a button, the car explodes. Batman flashes in and out of consciousness. As the third spirit visits him, you can hear a familiar laugh.
Wiki wiki, bats.
The Joker drags Batman through the snow, his vision blurring, and Batman sees the sign of a graveyard above him. The further he drags him, Batman doesn't have the strength to fight back. A hideous grin, then Batman is falling into a grave. With the grave being bottomless, he falls into the endless black, and in that black he sees visions of the future, a world where he is gone and left Gotham unguarded. Others have taken up his cause, but instead of leaving them with a message of hope, Bruce has left them with anger and hatred. Gangs in the street are using his symbol to instill fear in all they deem criminals. The visions cloud and warp. He sees Gordon on trial for aiding a vigilante, and he sees Alfred watching the auction of Wayne Manor. A vision of people buying and selling his property, no longer even thinking of the man who once lived there. Bruce Wayne and Batman left the world with nothing but fear and anger. No one would care that he was gone. No one would miss or mourn him. But Batman's life returns. The visions reside. Batman struggles from his grave, his fist punching through the freshly dug earth.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
Back in Bob's apartment, Timmy runs to the door when he hears a knock.
Santa, is that you?
The hideous grin isn't old Saint Nick.
Ho, ho, ho.
The Joker cackles as he pushes through the door, his face dangerously close to Timmy's.
Oh, I know. You were expecting a big guy in red. If it's all the same to you, I have a big bag of presents too.
In the next room, Bob is hiding. Bat in hand, he needs to do something. The Joker begins to pull toys from his bag and place them on the table. A gun, a grenade, and a wrench. Timmy calls to his daddy. With these words, Bob comes out swinging. The Joker is fast, so he ducks under the swinging and pops Bob across the jaw with his wrench. Now the gun stuck to Bob's face as the Joker begins to question him about the missing money. His laughter fills the apartment as Timmy tries to pull him off of his father. That's when the window explodes inward as Batman launches through it, knocking the table, the saddest Christmas tree, and the Joker to the floor. The gun falls into the grasp of Bob's hand, and he stands pistol pointed at Joker on the floor.
No!
Batman yells, his hands up.
You are not a criminal. Show your son what kind of man you are.
Bob hesitates, his hands shaking, and the Joker eggs him on.
Show him what a hero is.
Batman offers for one last time, and the gun goes loose in Bob's hand.
I'm not a criminal. I'm Bob Drake. And more importantly, I'm your dad.
Bob runs over to his son and scoops him up with a hug, holding him tightly, as Batman grabs the Joker and pulls him up, cuffing him behind his back. Later, the police have taken the Joker into custody, with Gordon standing outside watching Bob and his son. Looking up, he sees the billowing black wings of the city's dark guardian angel. Later in the cave, Alfred smiles as he finds Bruce asleep in front of the back computer. It's Christmas Day. The events of the night before changed Bruce. In the night, he found some hope that he had lost over the years. Bob and Timmy received a Christmas tree and a dinner courtesy of Wayne Enterprises, and Timmy sees in his father that heroes really do exist. All is right in Gotham City for the day.